Okay. Hey. Most people made it back from break. Excellent. Okay, let's see here. Over the weekend, I recorded a screencast about integration testing, and so this is that end-to-end testing where you drive the main method of your program by sending in command line arguments, and then you're able to test to make sure the right things were written to standard out and standard error and the exit code and all that kind of good stuff. Last week I wasn't able to get to that during class, and so I did it over the weekend. And while I posted the video to YouTube, I swear I put something on the Google Plus discussion, and nope, it didn't. And it wasn't there. I had a couple people ask me about it. So anyway, the whole thing is a little bit over an hour. It's just watching me do test-driven development and develop the code. And of course, while there's value in that, you've seen it a bunch of times, and maybe you don't want to take the entire hour to review it. So I recommend the first 5 minutes where I sort of give a rambling overview of what integration testing is all about and how it differs from unit testing. And then I also recommend that you check out the last 10 minutes, which is, so I get to the end and I've got all my tests passing, and I was looking at my command line parsing, and while it worked, I wasn't happy with it. And so what I did is I refactored that code to use a pattern that I've sort of evolved over the years when it comes to command line parsing. And so a number of you asked about, hey, what's a good way for me to parse my command line? How do I? Or maybe some of you who have done project 1, when you see the spec for project 2 versus project 3, it's oh wow, there are more options. Oh, my command line parsing is going to get a lot more complicated. Well, I've got a pattern that I think works pretty well for me. You can check it out in the video, and then I also put a link to one of my example programs that follows that same pattern. Anyway, so let me know what you think about it as something for you to take. Yeah, cool. Okay, now let's. I've done enough coding for tonight, or I've done a lot of coding for tonight. Now it's your turn. So we're going to do a kata here in class tonight. This is a kata that Kirosh found, and it's called "Stop Spinning My Words," and it's a little small. There you go. Okay. So this is a simple kata that takes a string that has one or more words in it and returns that same string, but with words that have 5 or more letters. Their letters are reversed. And so then you say, hey, spin words of hey, fellow warriors, and fellow and warriors are reversed in the string. And note that spaces will be included only when one or more words is present. So I guess I don't have an example of it. Anyway, so this is the kata that I am presenting to you to work on. Just like the FizzBuzz, this is not necessarily difficult to implement, right? It's not, we're not trying to solve, you're not looking to map the human genome with these katas. Really what you're learning to do is pair programming and working in mobs. So let's see here. First of all, any questions about the requirements for this kata? It's linked to on the course homepage under tonight's lecture, so you can get details of it there. Okay. So what I recommend, what I'm going to ask you to do in a moment is divide up into either pairs or mobs around the various screens. Please move the tables and chairs around to find a working environment that's right for you. And just like when you saw with me and Kirosh, I recommend starting with the student project. And so that you've got Maven and all the dependencies and all of the IntelliJ goodness and stuff. Okay? Cool. So let's break and figure out mob and pair programming. I'll be sort of wandering around. Go up to the very top of the page and it's try out Project 0. And it's there. There's the big old Maven command line that you... Actually, I'll just do that. Here, if you scroll down, here's the big old Maven command line. You can also use the one from Project 1. Also, you basically do the same thing, but student has a couple fewer classes, I guess. I'll be around to help you with that too. Okay, keyboards are up here. You can also take this one. Oh, and I guess one more thing. So we'll pair, we'll mob for a while, half an hour, 45 minutes or something. Then we'll reconvene in class. I'm going to put up a Google Hangout that you can join, and if you want to share your the results of your paramob programming with everybody else, I'll invite you up to do that. And you can share our screen through all of that, because I'm curious to see what it is that you guys come up with your stop spinning my words kata. Okay, awesome. Let's do it. Okay, so let's pause what we're doing here. I'm going to mute my mic. My audio. Okay. So, if you would like to share what you and your mob or your pair did, there is a Google Hangout that I have posted about here on the on the community. And what Google Hangout will allow you to do is share your screen, so you can still work from your laptop while everybody can see it up here. And so we have our first contestants. So do you guys? You can. I guess you can talk from there. I think the audio will be captured.
So we started off by just making this first test here, and just deciding that we were going to create a class called spinning with a static method called spin words that returns a string. Can I? No, this is Linux. I don't have any fancy theming. Oh, but he probably can on his Mac, right? All right.
At the bottom. Yeah. Maybe.
Right. So then we created that class and implemented that method, and I guess I could show you the Git history, but no. This is what we ended up with in the end. I guess we're presuming that words are split by one or more strings, one or more spaces. And so we're just splitting it into an array of strings and then looping through the words in the string. And we have a spun string that we're appending to by reversing the word if it's greater than or equal to 5 characters. Otherwise, just appending the word as it is, and appending a space if we're not at the end, if we're not on the final word. And so then I don't know how to navigate from here. Oh, shit. Probably the way to do it. So then we just added some basic tests, and it all worked. And that's where we got to. Yeah, I guess so. Well, we Googled it. Yeah, we did. We did do that, and we switched like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. Yeah. I don't know if like the navigator's supposed to tell you like everything to do, and you're just essentially a typist at that point. Yeah.
There's, the driver is there and worrying about syntax and worrying about just getting stuff from the brain onto the keyboard, and then the navigator is certainly the set back thinking about, I'll give you three factory and give all the next step.
I was curious, did you guys find that after the first test case, you had multiple options? Pretty much.
Actually, we were doing the thing where you kind of play stupid and just return whatever makes the test pass for the first couple of tests. Right. And then when we got to this one does not spin 3-character word, that we had to add any logic in there. And then yeah, just doing it the way that he was doing it in those bank videos with the deposits.
Nice. Cool. Any questions for these guys? No? Golf clap. Yep. Excellent. Okay. Anybody else want to share what they've done? You guys over there? Join the Hangout? Are you guys in the back in the Hangout yet? You're in. Okay, you're in. Okay, so share your screen. Yeah, there you are. No, let's see here. Yeah, so you go up here to share screen. Hangouts are different. They keep changing things. Okay, cool. Yeah, everybody likes to see themselves. There you go. Hey guys. Okay. There we go. Okay. View menu and then presentation mode. There, nice.
Really? That's And now how do you actually do stuff? I don't think you're supposed to do whatever you just did. Take us back. Just leave it on the screen for now. But I'm sharing it anyway. There's ways to do other cool things. He's not doing my face anymore? Oh, what else is there to do? Some stuff.
Now you're there.
There's like a way.
What's happening right now?
Yeah.
So very similar, but just kind of switched. So we started with less than 5 letters and did each case it just converted the exact same string, and that worked just fine. And then when we added the 5-letter one, that's when we got really analytics to check out the more greater than 5 letters. So that's switched over here. So we just started out with just kind of some returns of the strings. But in the end, we ended up building a string builder, and for each string in the strings array, which will based on splits to previous groups. Instead of like plus 5, then
We could have done that for each.
otherwise, do that thing the first function, reverse. And then at the end, check it at the end, and if not, then at the space, otherwise don't have a space, and then we iterate through. And then you're currently string builder, string builder, the actual string.
Ours is fine.
And then we did multiple words, 2 less, a mix of words, 3 words, and we said.
Cool. So let's see here. You had a mob of 3 people. Okay, so what was that like?
Yeah, it was really good. So we just kind of handed off on each test case. Every time we had a test case, that meant we handed off to the next person. And anytime there was noticeable work to be done to kind of improve for that case. So we always had
2 circles in the rod.
Okay. Any questions from these guys? Again, a polite clap. Thank you. You guys in the Hangout? Okay, you sharing your screen? Which guys are? Okay, so let's see here. How do I see? No? Oh, okay, excellent. Good deal. Please go into presentation mode.
And how do you switch between classes, though?
No idea. Shift.
There you go.
Okay. So yeah, we started with a super simple test of just one single word that shouldn't be changed. And in order to make that pass, we started with the spin single word method. And originally all it did was return the word itself. And that made our simplest test pass. And then we upgraded that to a single word that is 5 letters long. And we modified our method for that. And we also used the string builder function of reverse to accomplish that. And then once we moved to a phrase, we decided to make that into a helper function. And then our main method instead now first splits the phrase that it's given, and then uses a string builder as we iterate through that phrase. We just append the reversed word onto that string builder and then return that. And that handled the other our other tests that we made. So
you guys had a big mob over there. What was that like? There were what, 8 of you? 7 of you? Yeah.
it was fun.
We probably did more or less rotating. It was more like a couple of key coders and then everyone kind of doing input, more mob style that way. Less, just time given. I think we got most of it done without the rotation.
Cool. Any questions with this big mob over here? No? One more polite clap. Here. Oh, someone just joined. Does anybody else want to share what they've done? You guys back there? See here, please share your screen. Is this you?
Video camera skates.
Yeah.
Trying to be on Jim Ruffus.
Presentation mode or full screen? Whoa.
You want to be on Jim?
Here we go. I guess I can take this split off, maybe.
I feel like you're more of a Jim.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's good.
We need to keep sharing. How to...
You're welcome, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I still haven't taken Film 220.
All right. This is our...
Okay, yeah.
So we started with... So how do I switch between the tabs? Like how do we go between tests and hold shift? Oh, double shift? Okay. Okay, gotcha. All right. So our first test was just we just passed in the string test and made sure that it came back with that.
Yeah, we kind of altered the first test a number of times.
Yeah. And then the second time through when we were refactoring, we made this little helper function down here. It just returned it as an array and then looped through it. And then we refactored again and used the streams API. And we also used Stack Overflow to find the reverse function.
Which is a nice static method on the string builder. So.
And then let's see here. And then we tested one that was more than 5 letters to make sure that it came back okay. We tested one that was exactly 5 to make sure it came back okay. And then we just finished writing a test to make sure that a bunch of words that were less than, I guess it should be less than 5 characters. That were less than 5 characters was unaltered, and we probably need a couple more tests to test multiple strings or multiple words of 5 or more letters. But yeah, I guess that was the methodology, or I guess that was the process we went through.
Nice. Can you go back to your implementation? I I was curious if anyone was going to use the Stream API, and I'm glad to see that you did. So walk us through this. What is this? What are you doing here?
All right, so we're splitting our string into an array, and then we're converting that array into a list.
And we have the little split thing. You have a little regex delimiter. In that case, it's just a space.
And then with the Stream API, you can loop through your whole collection, and then there's a bunch of different methods that you can call. So you can call a for each. And then this S right here is each string in the list. You can assign a function to it. So we just put an anonymous function, but we could probably refactor this and make it its own function. And then this will get called on every single member of the collection. And so we just appended the string and then a space. And then at the very end, we trimmed the last space off, so we didn't have to check for so we didn't have to check for the last one.
I like that use of the string builder because it uses the nice feature of it just returning itself the whole time. So, but the cascading called, but I don't know if I like the way it works, but I'm not sure if it's actually readable. I don't know if that matters that much. I guess it does.
So yeah, this is cool. So if you guys watch the Java 8 lecture, I go into some detail about the Stream API. So have you guys studied functional programming at all? No? Oh, a little bit? Okay. So the whole idea in functional programming is that the sort of the unit of, you know how like object-oriented programming is all about objects, and procedural function is all about, well, they call them functional procedures, whereas like you do some stuff. Well, functional programming is all about like mathematical functions, where what's a function? Well, something that takes, you know, some arguments and returns a result, but there's no intermediate state. So it's like a static method that doesn't access static fields or whatever. And so this is really nice because there's no intermediate state, because there's no state there. You don't need to worry about race conditions when you access multiple data and multiple threads and things like that. What the Stream API allows you to do is take a big collection of data, get something called a stream, that allows you to basically, well, iterate isn't the right word. It basically allows you to operate on all of these items in the collection using functions and things like that. So for here, yeah.
So wait, so when we use this anonymous function, this lambda function here, you're saying that that is like already a-okay for like concurrency purposes, like it's concurrency safe, like when you do it, that is kind of a transaction.
No, it's not. So it's kind of what's the right word for it? It's instructive that you've used the for each, but what you've done is actually kind of almost like an anti-pattern, because what you have is a lambda that then references like that outer string build, that SB variable, and so like look, that's state. So well, maybe if I'm so inclined, I'll maybe like over the weekend show another way of using streams that will, instead of iterating over each element in the stream and then work on the stream buffer, what you can do is transform that stream into another stream. So you have the stream of like, here's all the words, and then I think it's called map. What you can do is then apply a function to each one of those elements in the stream, which is basically, if it's greater than 5 characters, reverse it. And then there's another thing you do to the stream, which is like join it on a space. And so then you can probably, implement this whole thing as just as a series of operations on that stream that basically transform the whole pipeline.
But the key being that when you're referencing one of these objects in the stream, then it is concurrency safe. It's like a transaction.
Right, because what you would have there is, instead of a for each that goes and appends it to the string buffer, what you would have, you'd have the stream of the words. Then you would transform that into a stream of words with appropriate ones reversed, and then you would join all that. You would collate all of that into a big long string that's space delimited. Anyway, so feel free to do that on your own. And I don't know, it's supposed to be rainy this weekend, so maybe I'll put out a little screencast that explains that. But super cool. But yeah, good for you trying this stuff out. The Java 8 stream stuff is really cool. Is really powerful. I have to admit that honestly, I haven't used it enough to really feel like I've mastered it because it's really quite different from the other stuff there. But it's cool to play with. And since it's new enough to you, you should have no problem picking it up. Anyway, yeah, awesome. Let's see. You guys paired. How did that experience go? What was that like?
I learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was really nice to like slow down and like talk about like, oh, should we do this? Oh, that's a good idea. Like, let's try that out this way. And then that kind of like all our different ideas kind of built on top of each other, and then then we came up with this at the end. So
we kind of just bounced back and forth. I'm not sure we had a clear. I mean, definitely one person was typing, but I'm not sure it became like a driver. What are the delegations?
It's the driver and the navigator. I always have this like road trip thing, yeah, in my head. Or like when my wife and I canoe, I just sit there and just move the boat, and she drives in the back. And yep, awesome, good. Okay. Anybody else like to share? Nope, it's not. That's cool. Great. Okay. Well, thank you all very much. That was super neat. I'm going to end the Hangout now. Yay. Okay. Enough of you. View. Go to full screen. Okay. So let's see here. That's class for tonight. What time is it? Yeah, 8:30. I think we've been going for a really long time. So I think it was interesting. You guys took to this really well. I was like looking over your shoulders and stuff like that, and I'll think about why, but I was really pleased with how quickly you guys got started. In years past, it's like 15 minutes in, there's still people trying to figure out how to create the Maven archetype and everything like that, and there are people struggling with the syntax. You aren't. So actually, that's really cool, and I think that means that we'll be able to do a lot. Our pair mob programming in the future will be faster than it was, because I think almost everybody got it done, right? I didn't see too many people struggling and stuff, so that's really awesome. I'm glad to see, and that probably reflects way more on you as students than me as a teacher. Okay. Anyway, so that's all I got for tonight. Have a great week, everybody. Keep the questions coming on the community, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.